Friends, welcome to Biju Guys Teaching Cafe. This is part of the lecture series I am conducting with the theme Perspectives in Politics. The title of this lecture is Politics, a Liberal Interpretation. This is not a lecture on what is liberalism, nor it is about how liberalism operates in our society. This is a short video lecture that deals with a single question: how liberal ideologies interpret the political I use in double inverted comma. So friends, there is a private home in the Mumbai city. It is a residence of the Indian billionaire and industrialist Mukesh Ambani and his family. It is reported that it is a 27-story home building with a 567 feet tall structure. It has amenities such as 3 helipads, 168 car garage, a ballroom, 80-seat theatre, terrace garden, spa, and even a temple. It is considered to be one of the most expensive private homes in the world. As of May 2020 evaluation available on internet, it is valued at 2.2 billion US dollar. That is, as per Indian rupee, the cost of this house is 16,000 crore. Imagine the size of the home. Friends, do you have any problem with this? With this amenities and wealth people amassing in a way which makes a lot of people homeless, shelterless, jobless, unemployed, without any subsistence to move on. So friends, do you have any problem in people building homes like this? Do you have any problem in people building residence like this, where family members are less than hand has fingers to accommodate few members of a family? A 27-story building is being built in India, a country with a lot of people living less than $2 a day. I will give you the answer. 11 years ago, to be precise, on May 2009, billionaire philanthropist Bill Gates of Microsoft and Warren Buffett of Berkshire Hathaway had a private dinner party meeting in New York City. That was in May 2009. Oprah Winfrey was reportedly attended this meeting. David Rockefeller and Michael Bloomberg reportedly attended this meeting. The secret of the meeting was revealed the next year, 2010. In this meeting, they launched a famous campaign called Giving Pledge. What is Giving Pledge? The Giving Pledge is the idea that it wanted to persuade fellow billionaires in the world to pledge at least 50% of their wealth to charity activities. So friends, it was in 2006, that is 4 years ago, Warren Buffett of Berkshire Hathaway had already announced that 85% of his 44 billion business empire will go to Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for charity activities. The news created ruckus across the world. It created a sensational item for people to talk about, because the second richest man in the world was going to donate 85% of his wealth to the first richest man in the world. So, in 2006, his wealth was 44 billion. And in 2020, according to Bloomberg Index, Warren Buffett is ranked 8th richest man in the world. Friends, look at the interesting facts. Even after donating 85% of the wealth to a philanthropic foundation, Warren Buffett is still 8th largest or the 8th richest man in the world. Something interesting? So why I mention these anecdotes is to emphasize one important point in this lecture about liberal interpretations of politics or liberal perspectives about politics. Respecting human labor, recognizing human creativity, recognizing human freedom and freedom or human autonomy, freedom to enterprise, freedom of industries is the core value of liberal ideas. This is a liberal value. The value recognized by liberalism is that it's a political doctrine that recognizes, that respects rights, freedom, liberty, equality of opportunity, tolerance, diversity, pluralism. These are its core values, the core values of liberal ideas. This idea was first evolved through the writings of John Locke. John Locke was an English philosopher born in the 17th century. In his classic book, John Locke, the title of the book is Two Treatises on Civil Government. In this classic book, he defended the idea of that men are born free and they have certain natural rights. They are born with certain rights which the nature has endowed in them. He proposed a famous theory of property, a property right, in the second treatise of civil government. He believed we are born free in this world. We are born free. We are relieved of any kind of constraints in the social structure. We are born but with certain important and inalienable rights, basic rights, and he called them natural rights. So natural rights are precondition for many further rights, which includes property rights. Everyone has a right of self-ownership. Locke says that everyone has a right of self-ownership. No one can interfere in it. No state, no king, no monarch can interfere in your right to self-ownership. Right to self-ownership also owes right to labor. So your right to self-ownership owes another important right, that is right to labor. Your labor should be recognized and valued. That should be privileged. Your labor should be privileged. Ingenuity, that is cleverness. Ingenuity, creativity and innovation are important values in the labor. So the key to property is the labor. The key to property is labor, the labor you have. So labor makes property. According to Locke, labor makes property. So you can use your physical labor, your ideas, imagination, creativity, innovation, and create property. How you create property? Locke proposes an interesting idea. You may use your imagination, ideas, labor, physical labor, creativity, innovation, ability to innovate in order to transform a previously unused natural material, that you put your labor on something on the in the nature, and nature belongs to everybody. Nature belongs to everybody, and we all human beings have equal claims to things in the nature. But when you apply your labor, when you apply your creativity, your innovativeness, your imagination, ideas on a natural thing and transform its natural shape, the thing is yours. For example, you go somewhere and found a vacant piece of land, an unused piece of land, and you put your labor there and created a plantation, a shelter, and some other things which shaped its previous, which changed its previous shape. According to Locke, the new thing is yours because you have applied your labor power. So to put it briefly, what you created in a previously unused piece of material in the nature is a property, and you have a right to own it, and everybody should recognize it, everybody should respect it, all the people should respect it, and all the people do have the same right, and you as a person, as an individual, should respect their right to own property by using their labor upon natural things and changed its natural shape. That changed thing is theirs, and you are responsible to respect that right, the similar rights of other people. So nature belongs to everyone. You have natural claim to natural things. Everyone do have equal rights. But the moment you put your labor on or put your sweat over something in the nature, that belongs to you. It's an interesting idea, Locke says. So I can tell you another example. You are a very good singer. By nature you are a talented singer. And you charge 1 lakh for a song. And every day you receive 5 or 6 bookings for songs. So you can earn 6 lakh or 5 lakh every day. Friends, it's usual that you will become very rich person in the world by using your talent. Your wealth will amass. Then comes the interesting question. This person is going to become a rich person, and there is a question: do we need to let this person to amass wealth this way because he is using his natural ability to sing well and earn money out of it, or the society, whether the society want to censor that person? Question clear? A person is singing well. The question is whether the society has any right to censor that person from amassing wealth by way of he using his natural talent to sing well and earn money, or whether society should let him free to use his ability to amass wealth. Liberals say, according to liberal ideologies, this person cannot be censored, this person cannot be controlled, because this is his natural ability. Society should respect that. Singing is his natural talent. We are responsible, we are obliged to respect that skill in him or her. So then, the question, what is politics according to liberals? Friends, politics is an activity in which human beings defend their right. What is their right? Their talents, their natural talents, their natural enterprising skill, their natural right to do things creatively. So, Mukesh Ambani has built a house. Warren Buffett became rich even after donating his 85% of the wealth to Bill Gates Foundation. He again became a rich person. That is the creativity according to liberal people. According to liberal ideologies, what Warren Buffett is doing, what Mukesh Ambani is doing is something that society should be recognized because that is their natural talent. The nature has given them that talent. So then politics is that activity in which people defend their natural rights. The right to earn property, right to wealth, right to use their creativity, right for enterprising, right for industries. So how you protect your right? Liberals say you can protect your right through a very important institution. What is that institution? That institution is called the state. So state is created by human beings by an agreement in which state will protect your right to property, your creativity, your talents, your innovation. It is done through the state. So state is the protector of your right to wealth. So politics is that activity by which individuals protect their wealth, creation, their creativity, their innovation, their ability to enterprising industries. So to be precise, politics is an activity which is meant to protect rights and liberty. It is an activity in which an institution called state is created. It is an activity in which the institution called state is created to protect human talents and creativity. It is an activity that cherishes human autonomy, that are free from social sanctions, social controls, or social structures. So it's an activity in which government is limited. Government has limited power, and the power of the government is to protect the natural rights of citizen. So there are two dimensions to liberal view of politics. There is a political dimension and an economic dimension. At the political level, liberalism will tell you that state is limited or government is limited. It has got very limited powers just to protect your interest. It is created to protect your personal interest. Second, it got an economic dimension. That is, you are free for enterprising. You are free and you should respect the similar rights of other people. Government should not interfere in your economic activities. Government in a sense should promote you. So it was developed by some interesting classical writers like John Locke, Adam Smith, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, Voltaire, Montesquieu, Jeremy Bentham, Alexis de Tocqueville. These are famous classical liberal theorists. They have contributed, they have developed, their literature developed this idea of liberalism. Liberalism later changed into different shapes, different ideological positions. It evolved into different streams of thought, but the crux of a liberal idea is a limited government which is meant to protect the individual interest. What is the individual interest? The individual interest is that you want to protect your wealth. Clear? So I hope this is a basic idea of liberal perspectives of politics. Politics is that activity in which you protect your personal interest, and state is created for that purpose. State got only very limited power. That is meant to protect you. What is to protect in you? Your right to wealth. Friends, this is a short lecture on liberal perspectives of politics. I don't know whether I have communicated well. Anyway, if you have any comments, questions and doubts on this lecture, drop me a line in the comment box in my YouTube channel. Thanks for listening me. Thank you very much.